This is our first shoot at Brooklyn Bowl. It's the world's first all-green bowling alley. We're here with Moby.
Put me on the train.
I know that in a couple of weeks this is going to be rammed with people, and they've got a rock and roll stage over there, and they've got a bar over there, and I mean, if I lived in this neighborhood, I would be here every single night.
Yeah.
The last time I went bowling was about 8 years ago, and it was in Los Angeles. I had played some Christmas radio show, and then somehow ended up going bowling with Danny Bonaducci. We drank beer together, took pictures.
Who won?
I think he probably won. I'm a really average bowler. Like, I never do terribly, but I never do very well.
Do you ever just like take a step back and just be like, man, I've been able to produce this amount of music?
Well, I do, but in a really strange way, because I never, ever expected to have a record contract. God is my witness. I thought I'd spend my entire life making music in my bedroom and no one would listen to it. When I look at a lot of the records I've made, I invariably think of how I could have done them better.
Yeah. Do you feel in the instance of Wait For Me that it's kind of, because it's more personal, that when you look back on it, you're probably not going to be as critical about it, or you think you still will be?
Maybe, because what I finally realized after doing this for so long is that, from my perspective, a good piece of music is like equal parts songwriting, performance, and atmosphere.
Right.
And if you're missing one of those three things, it's probably not going to be a very good piece of music. And what I really tried to do with this album, with Wait For Me, is hopefully the songwriting is good, hopefully the performance is good, but I really wanted to focus on the atmospheric side of it.
You recorded a lot at home, right?
With the album Hotel, I went to big studios with great engineers, and we recorded everything perfectly, and ended up with an album I don't like that much.
Yeah.
So for last night and for this record, I wanted to pretty much do everything at home for the most part by myself.
Yeah.
Especially with this album, with Wait For Me, I used a lot of old equipment, like analog synthesizers and equipment from the 50s, 60s, 70s, just so it wouldn't sound too clean.
Yeah. Do you have like an opinion about kind of the new school of electronic music that's coming up?
I love that, because also there was this period in the 90s when there was like a real compartmentalization based on genre. There were indie rockers over here and they only had guitar, bass, drums, and there were electronic people over here and they only had synthesizers and drum machines. And now everybody plays with everything.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the world of music has become a lot messier in terms, like, stylistically and genre-wise.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting the way people are sort of like playfully pillaging the past.
Right.
Like stylistically borrowing things from the past in a really like fun but irreverent way.
Right.
I think that's great.
So David Lynch directed the video for Shot in the Back of the Head.
David Lynch is arguably my favorite American film director of the last 50 years, which I guess means ever. So we've become friends in the last couple of years. And every now and then, if I'm working on a piece of music, I just randomly send it to him.
Right.
Because I think he might like it. So I sent him that song, Shot in the Back of the Head, and he wrote back and he was like, wow, this is great, I love this. And I said, hey, if you have any footage lying around, can I use it to make a video? And a week later, he sent me this animated video that he had drawn.
I know this isn't really an issue anymore, but you did have a history with Eminem. And I noticed that it's kind of ironic you guys are both putting out a record this month.
We had a history, and I blame myself because I made the mistake of criticizing someone who was then the most successful musician on the planet and who always traveled with big guys who carried guns. So I've learned my lesson, which is I'm not, when and if I'm going to criticize someone, I want to criticize someone who's like an avowed pacifist. As I was saying, maybe like the drum tech for the Fountains of Wayne.